One of them
might have a
tweeted at
parody.
me. So
He's not
I'm
without.
sure-
He did. He's
Yeah.
not. He's not. I mean, he's not talented or anything. Like he's not any good.
I would love to know what Kirk Minahan was doing at 19 years old, 20 years old, 21, and 22. I'm currently 22. When I was 19, I was on a major fucking market CHR station in Boston. When I turned 20, I had my own afternoon drive show. 21, still had the afternoon drive show. 22, I'm still on the fucking air, baby. So, like, I would love to know, if I'm some talentless hack, what were you doing at 22 years old, Kirk? I would love to fucking know, because I guarantee you at this point, being only 22 years old, I am immensely more talented at 22 than you were at 22. Take that to the fucking bank.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Amsterdam, Netherlands, weighing in at 215 pounds, Alistair Black. The atmosphere
Is fucking electric, Corey Graves. I'm fully aware. Now, so I'm going to get into the cuts and I'm going to address it, but guess what? In order to get into this intro now, I'm going to shut this speaker off so I don't drain its entire battery. So I'm going to make an edit and cut that part out, okay? All right, so I'm the little flamethrower. I am Alistair Black. I am John Mayer. I'm DJ K. Steve Robinson as S.E. Robinson. The DC Sleuth. I am DJ K. That's my radio name. I will get into that in a little bit. Now, the biggest thing, unanimously, universally, everybody, why are there so many edits? Okay, today, I don't have my earbuds in. There's no guest. Okay, there's no Austin. He's doing something right now, so I'm going solo. And now, the reason that I bring that up, when you want to make a comparison between, and I'll get to the YouTube shows in a minute, but when you want to make a comparison between my setup and the Kirk Minahan show setup, like I know, for example, Mike was saying, oh, like, you know, it's talentless, you know, it just means you can't broadcast for an hour straight. It's a little bit different when you, for example, have an extremely talented producer in the room and one of the best broadcasters of our generation sitting in the same room that you can bounce ideas off of. Right now I'm riding solo, and in the previous episode, I had Austin fucking Davidson. Okay, like, what do you want from me? I have a very good track record, and I'm gonna get into that in a later portion of this episode, because I do think talent for talent rise, there's a definite reason that I stand out on this channel. So I guess obviously the funniest part to me was the whole Alistair Black thing. The whole origin of that email was I actually emailed them on several different accounts, because I have like 1,900 emails, because at one point Starbucks basically had to shut down their birthday beverage program over me, because I was just creating email after email after email just to get free beverages, and I was like, every day it was my birthday, and they're like, why are you here again? It was your birthday yesterday. And I was like, oh, well, you know, on the app, you know, I just created another email. So, but no, I emailed them under, you know, a ton of different other emails, and I wasn't really able, you know, to ever get much of a response. Now, the reason, if you'll notice, Kirk did say on the show that he thought I looked familiar. And the reason I might look familiar is because of the fact that I applied to be his intern using like a video kind of like this. And I'm surprised Steve didn't remember it. If there's a way for me to overlay it, I'm going to overlay it here, which does mean, again, I'm going to go to a cut really quick. And if I can't, then it'll just awkwardly be me talking again. All right, so I guess I think I would be a good fit for the show just because of the fact that currently I'm an on-air talent. Kirk shits on on-air talents, and like the rest of you guys shit on on-air talents all the time, which is surprising because you guys are on-air talents, and like, or you all previously worked in radio or like some form of media. And then also the fact that like Kirk is always talking about, oh, Jerry's biggest problem is that he would always have guests on who agree with him, and there's never any like fires or like there's no combustion, when like Mike and Steve just fucking agree with you all the time. And or if they don't agree with you all the time, they'll say like, oh, well, this is where you're wrong, and then they just cower away as soon as Kirk buries them. It's not like, and I'm not trying to say that like I'm this big tough guy or whatever, but it's like nobody really stands up for what they want to believe in or like their points. The interns have actually been nothing, I shouldn't say the interns, one. I think Justin's the only one who's reached out to me. He's been really cool. He's been super awesome throughout the whole process. You can say that they're talentless, they can't talk on a microphone, but in terms of like interns, they might get a little bit more shit than they deserve. I would say, at least speaking for one of the interns, good to me, so I have no issues with him. I guess I was very shocked at, I guess, how ass hurt everybody got. Like, there was a couple shots at like different YouTube shows and YouTube channels, and a lot of them, some things were taken out of context. Like, I know, for example, everybody on the show was saying, "Oh, what are you comparing 5,000 subscribers for to your 0?" what I wasn't trying to say that like I'm this mass phenomenon. What I'm trying to say is that the Kirk Minahan show, the Kirk Minahan brand, should be able to have 100,000 subscribers and get there at a much more rapid rate. It wasn't a jab at you guys saying you guys suck, your social media management sucks, and then they play the whole, oh, well, what are we, we're gaining 1,000 a month. You're not reaching any new people. It's all people who already knew that you existed. Like, it's all people who either knew you from EI or already knew you from Barstool. I promise you, there's nobody, not a single one of your 5,000 subscribers who clicked on your channel who didn't already know who you were. And unfortunately, if the first video they click on is stonks and stuff, they're not going to stick around. So some people took some shots. There was BA, who I have no fucking idea who that guy is. I think he's on one of the YouTube shows, so I did go to one of the YouTube shows. And if I recall, he is the guy who looks like the Obese Jared from Subway. And then there was also, then Mike, said he's because this is the 23rd. So Mike was saying on today's show, oh yeah, I'm going to do a show with Red from Maine tonight. And, nobody fucking cares what he has to think and, and all this other stuff. What I don't understand is, yes, I did say Mike sucks as a host because he's not a good host. But I did say on the pilot video, and because Steve said that I shit on Mike way too much too, I said in the pilot video and in that video, Mike is a good third wheel. He's just not a good host. And I did say in that video too, if he wants to be better as a host, instead of just hosting a Q&A, what he should do is talk about something he's passionate about. And that's what he's doing. Like, I don't understand why. I guess it might be the context thing. People take things way, or maybe they misinterpreted, I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, they weren't interpreted properly at all. And that's not me backing down. That's me sticking up for what I originally said. There's a very big difference. Then there was the Mincel Incel guy, John from Scranton, and he was super nice, very, hey, like if you need any help with anything, do you want me to make you an intro? Do you want me to, do you want me to be a guest on the show? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? He was basically offering to suck my cock via DM. I mean, he's a nice kid and everything. I will say, I laugh. I think the Warden of the North, and we can get to that later too, said I laugh like a hyena. That kid John, he's cool and everything, but he has like the laugh of like a 15-year-old who got high for the first time. He's like,
Hey, Will, take your fucking hat off, please. You're so fucking
My hair looks really ridiculous right now, sir.
whereas opposed to like Mike, Mike's got like the growl laugh. He's got like the
stupid wife and this probably stupid kid.
And no, the point of this show is not to be a YouTube show just shitting on other YouTube shows. The only reason I talked about YouTube shows in that technically second episode but first aired episode was just because of the fact that Kirk was on the shows. And when you and I'll get into this later, again, my history in broadcasting and whatnot, when you're in the industry, you talk about things that are relevant. So Kirk being on the YouTube shows is relevant. So I'm not just going to talk about the fucking Manners to Midnight on a random episode if Kirk's not on it. He will never get another piece of my attention again, I promise. Like, he's not, it's only because Kirk was on the channel. And then, there are YouTube shows that I like. I think I tweeted it out. I just started using Twitter for the first time 3 days ago. I love the Lemon Haze guys, I guess partially because I'm like a recovering addict, but I really liked, what was the other one? The OG Minifans. They did a really good job. Andy Mayo had the first interview, and I think his show overall was probably the best so far. So I mean, there are a lot of YouTube shows I like. I mean, none of them are as good as mine, and that's not a jab. That's just because I have experience. I've been broadcasting for 3 years. I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna have to edit things out here and there, and I mean, cut. And the biggest thing that came about, aside from the edits, was rip off. It was slammed on their Instagram page, just smeared right over it, rip off. Again, I shat on the YouTube pages because it was relevant, because it was a way that I knew would probably catch some attention. But I think also on top of that, Kirk's shtick is not something that, I don't want to say can be copied, but it gets old, really, really fast. So, if I were to just come out and do one of these once a week and just say, how many times can I say Manners to Midnight sucks? How many times can I say that Stonks to Stocks, whatever the fuck it is awful? That's not a good show. There's no reason for me to just constantly come out and say, oh, hey, this person sucks, that person sucks. Well, it's okay, then at that point, okay, we got it. They suck. Give us something else. So I mean, this episode, it's going to be primarily just addressing some of the show comments and whatnot, and social media comments. But I mean, the next episode is one that typically what I just wanted this to be was just a reaction to what they talk about on the show, which is, I guess, what this one is, but also like segments that they have from the show. So like I do love the theme of bad radio because again, I was on the radio and like I am on the radio, I should say. But like I know I have these, and there's some of them like on my Instagram too, which I'm surprised for all that like that there was no people had no idea who I was on like social media and whatnot, which surprised me. But I'm surprised nobody was able to find some of my old radio stuff and just shit on that. But most of the stuff I have on my Instagram, I believe, is good. But there are demos like that I have in my Google Drive that are the absolute worst radio, like audio files to ever exist. And I really want to go through them and just absolutely annihilate them. And I hope, I'm sure the guys on the show, hopefully they'll come bash along. Because I think on top of like shitting on other people, like I also think it's fun to shit on yourself. Like I guess that's where I kind of want to distinguish myself from Kirk, is I'm not this whole just you suck. And I think that's a problem he runs into all the time, is how many times can you say something suck? Like, what is good? If you ever notice on the show, he almost never talks about things that are good. So what is good? If you were to just say, because I guess maybe The Sopranos in movies, like to me, those are boring. Like I hate The Sopranos and I hate the movies. When those calls come in, I tune out, or I hit +30, +30, +30, +30. But like, to him that might be entertaining, and that's fine. Just because it's not entertaining to me doesn't mean it's not entertaining to him. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean it sucks. Like, I mean, you can banter, you can go back and forth. And I think that's something that people don't realize. It's a character. And like when you do go on these YouTube shows and you do see like Kirk Minahan, the less asshole version, you realize it's a little bit of a character. Like I know Steve brought up on the show one time, you see like Alex Jones went to court. And, he had said, oh, well, it's all in, my business. I'm playing a character. I'm not saying he's Alex Jones, but I'm saying there are, like, it's show prep. There's news stories that are on his desk. Like, he talks about how Steve will print out 6 articles and give them to him. He has some social media buzz on Twitter that he can bounce off of and make fun of people and go after. But, like, for me, I could never fucking do that. Like, to me, that would get extremely boring to me really quick. And obviously he's made a fucking phenomenal living out of it, but that's not me. I'm the edit guy. And then I go to Apple Podcasts, right? You can go, because I was going to play some audio from the show. So I was able to pull it up into iTunes. And when you do that, you can see like the popularity of the episode. I took a screenshot of it so I can prove it to you. I'm not bullshitting. It was like one of the fucking lowest viewed episodes in the last like fucking, of all the ones that showed, I think it was by far the lowest. The fuck, man? They didn't even give me a boost. I mean, I would think after all that, let's promote the YouTube channel. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then I go and look at it. And it has like 2 bars out of 10. Like, I mean, what the fuck? And then the whole, you're the ripoff of the ripoff of the ripoff of the ripoff. Says the Howard Stern ripoff. And then says on top of that, Mike is made it abundantly clear everything he knows is from O&A, which is a show I've never even listened to. And Steve, I have no issues with Steve, other than when that time I sent in that intern video, and he kind of threw some shade on the video the next day, because he was like, we did have one submission of this guy that was like, the reason you need me on the show, which was again totally out of context and not what I said at all. But he was like, the reason you need me on the show, and Kirk was like, yeah, we're good, because he always does that. He's dismissive of everything. But I was surprised that I guess the whole takeaway was that I hated Mike, because I don't think that he's a talented host. I do think that it's something he can get better at. Like I said, I think it's smart for him to host a show tonight about I think it's like a TV show or something like that, and he's gonna do it with From Maine. Fucking awesome. Screw me. You get better at what you do. And I've said the last 3 weeks, I think I said it more specifically in the pilot episode, but I thought I mentioned it in the last episode too. He's a good third wheel. He's become a really good, like, kind of, in Kirk, I think it was on, I think the OG Minifans. He's playing along better. He's starting to get his confidence back. And that's awesome. That makes it better for the show. I'm a listener to the show. I want to be entertained. I don't want Mike to suck. And one final ripoff comment. Is Kirk's shtick really that unique? He's just an asshole. Like, there are at least hundreds of millions of assholes on the planet, and he happens to be somebody who can convey it over a microphone. Is that really that fucking original? Like, since when does Kirk Minahan have the trademark of it? I'm the only guy who can ever be an asshole on the microphone. I'm the only guy who can ever shit on somebody when I'm on a microphone. He wasn't the first person to do it. He's not going to be the last person to do it. Now, I guess I said I like some of the YouTube shows. Some of the problems, I guess, that I have with some of the YouTube shows are like, and this is, I should probably get into that, but I'll do it later, whatever. I'll just say this. I've been on radio for 3 years. There's a difference between having a show, coming prepared, knowing how to prep, I mean, if you're great improv, Kirk says he's all improv. I don't know if I entirely believe that, but like, there's a difference between knowing how to prep, knowing how to do all that stuff, and just going onto Google Hangouts and clicking record. Like, there's a market for that. Like, if you're like Joe Rogan and you get like really good guests, or if you're Kirk and you have an $800,000 Barstool budget and you're an amazing talent, yeah, you can let that fly. But if you're, you know what? If you're Mincel Intel or Mike and the Minifans, and there's just clicking like record on Google Hangouts, doesn't mean it's a show. Like, it's just like a conversation that I feel like somebody would listen to, like, when they're on drugs, like when they're lemon haze, I guess. Like, I don't know. Just, to me, there's a massive difference. And before somebody says that's a fucking ripoff or a copycat, it makes me phenomenally uncomfortable to fucking do that on camera. So, I mean, listen, some people took their jabs, whatever. I don't really fucking care. So, like, people take this shit way too seriously. Somebody tweeted at me like, oh, on DJK's behalf, I decided to change something to Justin Bieber sex tape. And listen, I was called John Mayer, Justin Bieber, Gary V, and I think it's not really debatable. I'm by far the best looking person in this entire universe. I mean, that's not up for debate. But here I say all that to say this. Kirk, you know, if I can, I'm going to try to play some of the audio because I think it might be decently entertaining to kind of react to some of the stuff that's on the show. Because you can say what you want. You can talk a lot of shit about me. You can say I suck. You can say I'm a wannabe Kirk, a wannabe Reamer. I was on the show. And a lot of people reacted to what I did. And some of that was really shit. Some people really fucking hate my guts. Some people really liked it. But I got on the show. Like, there's value to that, and there's a reason to that. You know, Kirk had said at one point in the show, I mean, he's not talented. Steve defended. I like Steve. Steve said I was talented. Steve understands. I mean, he might have just said that because I pissed off Manners, and that's fine. I'm going to take it for what it is. But Kirk, you know, he's not talented. You know, he's not any good. I would love to know what Kirk Minahan was doing at 19 years old, 20 years old, 21, and 22. I'm currently 22. When I was 19, I was on a major fucking market CHR station in Boston. When I turned 20, I had my own afternoon drive show. 21, still had the afternoon drive show. 22, I'm still on the fucking air, baby. So, like, I would love to know, if I'm some talentless hack, what were you doing at 22 years old, Kirk? I would love to fucking know, because I guarantee you at this point, being only 22 years old, I am immensely more talented at 22 than you were at 22. Take that to the fucking bank. And then Mike had thrown a jab. Oh, he doesn't get what we're trying to do on social media. He doesn't get it. Oh, we have 1,000 followers a month. We're growing. He just doesn't get it. Do you know what you're trying to do on social media? Like, you probably had like 45 followers before the Kirk Minahan show. Like, why? Or your time at Barstool, whatever. Like, what do you think makes you a social media fucking expert? I did social media basically, I don't want to say for a living, but I tried to make it my living. There was a point where I was doing singing when I was 19 years old, and I was 18, and I took you want to talk about starting from scratch, because Kirk goes, oh, well, we're building this thing from scratch. No, you're not. You have the Barstool platform, and you have all your listeners from EI. That's not from scratch. None of the, EI is one of the biggest, say what you want, you can say it fucking sucks, whatever. It's one of the biggest stations in Boston, and then on top, or at least it used to be, whatever. When you were there, it was. So it's one of the biggest platforms you have, and you have Barstool Sports, which is a huge national platform. You say, oh, well, we're building it from scratch. No, you're not. You're not building anything from scratch. So I built something from scratch. I built something from 0 to 7,000 followers. You can say that sucks. I guarantee you the person who says it sucks has never had 7,000 followers on anything. And I did it in a shorter period of time than you have to your 5,000 when I was singing. I knew what I was doing. Yeah, I don't want to say I'm a fucking expert, because I'm not. But there are things, and you can laugh and say, oh, guy goes on train tracks, see how it ends. That's a solid fucking title to me. Like, you might hate it, and then he goes, oh, yeah, that's dumb. We're never going to do that or whatever. If you go back, I think one of Kirk's first tweets about this Barstool show was he goes, Kirk Minahan goes to Straight Pride Parade, and the head guys refuse to show us their dicks. Is that not a clickbait title? Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't say you don't care about it. You can't say you're trying to do it, but you're not trying to do it. You suck at it. You're good at it. You can't play it both ways. You can't do that. And then I guess the last thing I'll say is Kirk was, hey, you know, maybe because Mike had said, well, to defend my guy Manners, you know, I'd like to see you do this guy's show to see all the hard-hitting questions and, he, you know, whatever. I can promise you it wouldn't be an ass-kiss fest. Kirk is more than welcome to come on the show. He did say, oh, you know, if I'm going to go on, I'll do it live or whatever. listen, when I go on your show, your fucking rules, you can do whatever you want. You can make me sound like an asshole, whatever. When you come on my show, my rules, I'm editing the entire thing. And you know what? It's non-consent. It's a dual party consent state here in Massachusetts. Steve's not allowed to record it. It is solely, it's all going to be mine. So I guess that is it. And yeah, I think next episode, I think will be really funny. And for all the people who hate me, because I know there's a lot of them, that will probably be the episode you'll want to tune in on the most, just because of the fact it's just going to be me and presumably a lot more people shitting on me, which is, listen, there's fun to that too. So goodbye.